Good evening. It is March 6th, 2021, but I'm going to look at the price action for March 5th, 2021. The reason I didn't make a video yesterday was just because there was so much price action and I didn't feel like the analysis that I got in yesterday was thorough enough. So I revisited it and I've probably just been looking at it for the past 25 minutes or so, and I think I got a good look at it. So it was a crazy day. Uh, Overnight highs in this yellow area, overnight lows in this yellow area. Um, when I was looking at the overnight price action, though, I did notice that this leg to this level. So I did put a horizontal line at that level to see, just to keep that price level in mind because it might come in handy later. And it sure did come in handy later when the bounce happened. So something to think about there. There's also it came up short of that here. Um, Thought we might get a measured leg in the morning, but this is that leg down shortly after the open, and if you put it right here, that was actually to the overnight lows, and it actually went a little further than that. However, in the correction upward, we did get a measured leg. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we got a pretty much a perfect measured leg. So this is the first leg, measured it to that level. That was like the first fairly big pullback. And if you take that and put it right here, you get almost a perfect measured leg to the tick. So that's what we were looking at for the day. Let me get that out of there now. Um, a lot of trades, a lot of price action, very dense, many layers to this, and that's why I couldn't really do much of a thorough analysis yesterday. Just so many layers, a lot of sideways action. You'll see as we go through it. It was just this is why you want to trade the mornings, man. The mornings was so easy to read, and the afternoon in the correction was not. And you'll see as we go through it. So first trade that I looked at, um, I don't think I would have taken it, but in this uptrend in the overnight before the market open, we get this lower high far from the EMA. Um, it's very far from the EMA, plenty of room. Hasn't touched the EMA in like 20 minutes, and one, two, three legs up. After a couple legs that haven't made it to the top of the trend line, that's something to keep in mind too. So touch the trend line here, come back to it, and we don't make it. We're just bouncing off the midline. Very, very bearish signal bar. And then we start to reverse. So um, if you draw this trend line off these two highs, we come back to it here and you get a second entry short, first entry, second entry short off that trend line and the EMA. So I do like that. It does look a little congested though. So that's tough. It's a tough entry. But the setup is nice because it's off the trend line and the EMA. So that's why I like that. And you can see the EMA is pointing slightly down. It's not flat like it is here. Okay, so we keep moving down. Let's see, there might be some failures. First entry, second entry. Yeah, not really a good setup though. Keeps moving down. We get this congestive area. I couldn't really tell it was this congestive area though until over here, so I don't see any good entries. Um, but you do get a counter trend breakout. And so you definitely want to be on the lookout when you get a counter trend breakout of congestion. And if you were on the lookout, you get a good setup, a lower high back into congestion. It closes beneath the EMA. um, and you would have gotten a good move. It's off the trend line as well. Keep that in mind. Always draw the short-term trends. You get a nice move out of that. That would have been able to take you, would have been able to give you a few points. This congestive area just comes back to the EMA and shoots down. Um, let's see. We get the break of this channel. One, two legs up, one leg, two legs to a new low. More like three legs to a new low. Um, Keep in mind this horizontal line is that price level I pointed out at the beginning of the video. We get some congestion here, and it's hard to say, does this congestive area really go to here? Because these are dojis overlapping. Does it? But I don't think it does, because I think this is probably micro congestion in itself, because this price level doesn't really, uh, prices don't really get congested at that level after this. So we get this with trend break, but it comes back, and this is super aggressive because I mean we've been trending down, but it's a higher low off the trend line, this trend line. It closes above the EMA, and it's trapped. Um, People are going short here. Actually, people probably got filled. So I mean, the only reason I wouldn't mark this bar is because it's not a lower high. Otherwise, I would have been taking that. And I'm sure the people who did take that got filled. And so as soon as they got filled, it just goes back up again because this is a channel. And so it is a trap. So if you saw all those things, take it, but I wouldn't have seen that live, I don't think. However, it is off the trend line. So I do like that. Okay, so we get a break, one leg up. It's actually, we get one leg up, two legs up to a new high, so it's perfect price action. But you get the first entry, second entry long. It also looks like it might be a breakout pullback off this congestive area, this congestive level. But not sure I would take that either because it just, I don't know. I don't like to take trades when I don't know what's going on and I don't have my trend lines drawn, and I don't see how I would have. Oh, okay. Well, if I drew it off this, then yeah, I could take that. Yeah, you know what? That kind of looks like that's a trend in itself. So I didn't see that, but that's a trend too. Get this break, one leg up. I guess you could look at this as the second leg. That's what I'm saying. All these layers yesterday, dense, very dense price action yesterday. Second entry long, so this would be off the trend line. It also touches the EMA, so you can go long there. But I mean, I'd probably get out after these few bars, which is a shame because the trap, all the shorts exit here, and that's when rockets up. I marked this probably because of this lower high, but especially if you have this trend line drawn, you're not gonna go short there. But it's a lower high with room back to the EMA to scalp out. Okay, so this I looked at as a failed second entry long after two legs up from this trend line. And actually, you could look at it from here too. One leg up, two legs. You get the lower high, boom. Failed second entry long. Looks like a failure back into congestion. Which congestion was I looking at? This congestion. Looks like a failure back into that congestion. So if you see all that, you might take that. I don't think I would have seen all that though. And you get a better signal bar right here. If you did take that, look at the move you got. Okay, and that's when this congestive area comes back into play is over here, and it starts just acting like a level of support. Don't get any good entries over here, but prices bounce, make like a double bottom kind of bounce. Let's look at the context a little more. What did I? Okay, this is our measured move, so let me delete that so it doesn't confuse anybody. Um, yeah, so back into this congestive area, far from the EMA, it bounces, goes to the other side of the EMA, um, and we kind of get this downward range with a downward bias for a little while. I didn't really look at it that way until now. But yeah, we get this range with the downward bias. You get this lower high, but you don't know that this is the range we're playing. So you can't take that. When it comes back here, it's a second entry long, first entry, second entry, but it's inside this congestive area. Um, and you know what? I was talking about how I didn't know where to draw this congestion, but even over here, it does look like that is the more accurate congestive area, which makes this entry even more aggressive. But let's keep going, and I'm going to keep it like that. And that might give you more reason to enter here because you have room back there, but that is straight into the midline. But anyway, bounces off the top of that congestive area, comes back down. You know, me personally, I like these entries. That's a perfect signal bar back into congestion. But technically, you're supposed to wait on the higher low, and that would have come here, and you would enter one tick above this bar. That would have gotten you a nice entry. That confirms this red channel with the downward bias. It's really a range. Um, you don't get a good entry off here though. You might just enter on this bar and put your stop above here, but doesn't really follow Mack's rules. So yeah, that's a breakout. Comes back into congestion. Get this pullback, but doesn't make it to the EMA. Shoots down. All these shorts get trapped. Comes back up. They're just stopping everyone out here. Bounces off the EMA. Comes back down. And then we got even more congestion. This is where it just gets funky. And this is that price level, that important price level that I pointed out from the overnight. Get some bounces. This just looks like a trap. I like these setups because it's the first time that my understanding of what a trap is really clicked. You got all these people going short into this important level of support. And then you get a nice bearish bar again. It doesn't tick lower than this one, then this one, a bullish bar, ticks beneath this one. So people who went short beneath this, their trades get filled, and then it just comes back up. But this is just very dense. But yeah, this is obviously a level of support at this point. Um, I don't see any. You don't want to enter in this at all. If you're being super aggressive, you might go short here. That's actually technically a second entry short. So let me mark that. But it's definitely aggressive. Comes, bounces off this level of support. Get a nice little channel up, I'm seeing. A spiking channel. Overshoot leads to a break. You get this lower high with a weak signal bar, but it's off that level of support or level of resistance. Um, so if you want to be super aggressive, take that. This confirms that this downward trend line. and you get a first, second entry short, great signal bar off this important price level from the overnight, um, near the EMA, all those things stacking in your favor. You should take that. It also kind of looks like a trap because people are going long above this. They think they found an important low. And it's off the midline of this larger trend, this range with the downward bias. So that actually might make it a little aggressive, but it's also, this trend has also already been confirmed. We haven't really had a break of that or an overshoot. Keep going down, loses momentum at the bottom of this red channel, loses momentum, can't make it to the bottom of this channel. That gets us to a break. Then we get another channel down. And I didn't really see any entries here that I like. To get the first entry, second entry, no setup. But then you get this signal bar off the trend line. That's like a first, second, third entry. Oh, and here's a trap. Didn't even see that. So as described earlier, you get the same setup, just going short instead of going long on a trap. So you would enter one tick below this bar if you like it. Not sure I would do that around these overnight lows, but if you're a good chart reader, you might take that. And this is where prices just start to trend up. And man, this is just so messy. And this is very hard to look at and read. But prices reversed. And let's look at the greater picture. This is an overshoot of this red channel, right? This is an overshoot. So we get the overshoot, and that eventually leads to a break, which is probably around here. I didn't extend the lines to the right. Let's see. Yeah, the break is over here. So you get this overshoot, leads to a break. Prices trended up for the rest of the day. You could have had this bigger channel drawn off these first few swings, but you wouldn't have had the highs drawn. You would have had this midline as your highs. I don't see any good entries going long here. But at this point, probably right here is when you realize, okay, this thing's starting to go up because we get one swing up, two swings up, three swings up. Price come back to the bottom again. You might get confused here, and that's probably why all these shorts got trapped here, because prices for a split second stopped respecting this level of support, and boom, shorts got trapped. So we come back to this important price level from the overnight after this big move up, some congestion. It all looks like congestion too, man. I'm glad I got my trading done early in the morning. So you got a first entry, second entry. It's at the important price level, but it's aggressive because I don't have anything drawn here. It just looks like congestion. You might look at it as the bottom of congestion though. So maybe, is it aggressive? I don't know. You also would have had this trend line, so it's far away from that trend line. So tough to say. Get this channel up. I don't see anything in here, but at this point it does look like a strong upward trend. So if you have this drawn, maybe you'll go. No, this doesn't tick lower than this bar, so you can't treat it like a trap or anything. Loses steam right here, comes back. Probably would have, if you entered here, probably would have gotten a scalp out, but loses steam, breaks. And at this point, like I said, it just looks like a strong upward trend. So if you're being aggressive, this is just the first entry. It's into the midline. I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that. I don't know why I marked that. Oh, okay. Looks like maybe this is why. So, something to think about here. Sheesh. More congestion. You might enter here. This is off the EMA. You wouldn't have had this range drawn by then, but it's off the EMA and it's a second entry long. You might enter here just because it looks like this is an important price level, or here. This kind of looks like a second entry, but it's hard to say. It's above the EMA. Counter trend breakout. If you're being super aggressive, you might buy this, but it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not off the trend line. We don't know what's going on here. And especially like this, something like this, we know this is a strong upward trend. We're getting to the overnight highs though. Look at all these dojis and all that. This is just, I don't want to do this. I don't want to trade in this. But you do get, this looks like a second entry. It's off the trend line, this trend line. It's off the EMA. It's off the overnight highs. That's a lot of support right there. So I like that. I don't know. Yeah, I marked it aggressive. I don't know. Tough to say if that's really aggressive with all that support. Um, Price just chopping back and forth, probably trapping a bunch of shorts. People who are thinking, "Oh, it's going down." It's got a slight downward bias, so it's going down. But maybe that's something people were looking at. Get this overshoot, leads to a break. I'm sure people went short here. Plenty of people. Uh, Nothing really you can enter in here, unfortunately, because that's a nice move up. We get this congestion. It's looking good. It's looking like a nice upward trend. You get some higher lows here, but nothing really to enter in. This is after 12. But you know, the trend's been so strong up that I marked some stuff. You get a second entry long. This is not off the trend line, but second entry long, it's a trap. And then you get another, you would have had your trend line drawn here by this point. So you get a first entry, second entry long off trend line. And after that, prices were just ranging. So I probably looked at this chart for a total of like hour and 15 minutes. And just remember we had that measured leg up. Boom, boom. Okay, I'm tired. I hope everyone had a good week. I'll be back on Monday.